Ladies and gentlemen, today is not just another day. It's not just another talk, not just another gathering. Today is the day you draw a line in the sand and say, enough is enough. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to become more than I've ever been before. Because if you're going to change your life, if you're going to live a life that matters, if you're going to walk in your greatness, you must confront the truth. You must embrace the power of growth. I want you to look at the person sitting near you. Look them in the eyes, tell them I'm ready to grow. Say it like you mean it, because this moment right here can be the turning point. Some of you have been waiting on life to change, but life is waiting on you to make a move. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional, it's deliberate. It's a decision made over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts, even when no one's clapping for you. The truth is, the person you are right now has brought you to this point. But the person you must become will take you to the next level. And that person is waiting inside you, fighting to come out, waiting for you to stop playing small, waiting for you to stop settling for average, waiting for you to stop making excuses and start making moves. Some of you came here carrying doubts. Some came here tired. Some came here with dreams that have been buried under years of disappointment. But let me tell you something, those dreams are not dead. They're dormant. And growth is the key that will wake them up. It starts with telling yourself the truth, because nothing changes until you do. You can't lie to yourself and expect real transformation. You can't keep pretending everything's fine when deep down you know you've been coasting. Growth requires honesty, brutal honesty, the kind of honesty that looks you in the mirror and says, this is where I am, and this is not where I'm staying. And let me tell you, growth isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's painful. But it's always worth it. Because growth builds strength. Growth builds character. Growth shapes the person you were born to be. Some of you have been waiting for permission to change. You've been waiting for someone to validate you, to cheer you on, to tell you you're ready. But hear me now. You don't need anyone's permission to become the best version of yourself. You don't need approval to rise. You don't need validation to grow. All you need is a made-up mind and a heart on fire. The truth is, personal growth is not a destination. It's a journey that starts where you are with what you have right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now, because the clock is ticking, my friends. Life doesn't wait for you to get ready. It moves, and if you don't move with it, it will leave you behind. How many of you have ever felt stuck? Raise your hand, be honest, we've all been there. Stuck in routines, stuck in fear, stuck in old stories about who we are and what we can't do. But I came to tell you, stuck is not permanent. Stuck is a feeling, not a fact. Growth breaks chains, growth opens doors, growth turns the impossible into the inevitable, and I know sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you look at the mountain in front of you and think, there's no way I can climb that. But let me remind you, you don't have to conquer the whole mountain in one day. You just have to take the next step. One step at a time, one truth at a time, one decision at a time, and here's the thing. If you don't grow, life will force you to. Life has a way of shaking us, pushing us, sometimes breaking us to get us to stop playing small. Growth is not just about success, it's about survival. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle what life throws at you. It's about becoming mentally strong, emotionally resilient, spiritually grounded. Look, life will test you. It will stretch you. It will throw setbacks in your path. But every test is an invitation to grow. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure is feedback, pointing you toward the lesson you need to rise higher. You've got something special in you, something powerful, something the world needs. But that greatness can only come out when you grow beyond your comfort zone. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort whispers, you're fine where you are. Growth shouts, there's more in you. And you've got to decide which voice you'll listen to. Repeat after me, there's more in me. Say it again. Say it until your spirit wakes up, because there is more in you. More strength, more courage, more potential, more brilliance, but it doesn't show up automatically. You must grow into it. There comes a moment in every life when the weight of the familiar becomes too heavy to carry. When the patterns you've repeated for years no longer satisfy the hunger inside you. When the life you've settled for can no longer hold the life you were meant to live. That moment is not always loud. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a whisper in the night. Sometimes it hits you like a storm, shaking everything you thought was stable. But make no mistake, every breakthrough begins at that moment. It begins when you decide, not wish, not hope, not try, but decide to change. Change doesn't wait for permission. It responds to decision. The most powerful force in your life is not your past, not your environment, not even your talent. It's your willingness to make a decision so bold, so clear, so unshakable that it shifts the direction of your life. When you decide to change, something shifts inside you. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop apologizing for your potential. You stop living as if tomorrow is guaranteed and start moving as if your future depends on today, because it does. Many people talk about change, but few decide. Talking is easy. Deciding is costly. When you decide to change, you're declaring war on the habits that have kept you stuck. You're stepping away from the comfort that has kept you small. You're challenging the stories that have defined your identity. That's not a casual choice. That's a bold one. That's why breakthroughs don't happen by accident. They're born from the fire of a made-up mind. Think about every major shift in your life. It started with a decision. The decision to walk away from something that no longer served you. The decision to say yes to something that scared you. The decision to try one more time when everything in you wanted to quit. Decisions shape destinies. Every time you make a bold decision, you draw a new map for your life. You're not waiting for the right moment, you're creating it. Some of you are standing at that crossroads right now. You feel the pull. You know there's more in you, but the old life still whispers your name. Fear shows up dressed as logic. Doubt comes with a list of reasons why you should stay where you are. But deep down, you know staying the same is more dangerous than changing. You know that playing safe is slowly suffocating your potential. Bold decisions aren't made in the absence of fear. They're made in spite of it. The world doesn't move for the hesitant. It moves for the decisive. There's a power that shows up the moment you decide. It's like doors that were invisible suddenly swing open. People you've never met appear. Opportunities you couldn't see before come into focus. Why? Because your decision changes your perception. When you decide to change, your energy changes. Your actions align. Your focus sharpens. You stop drifting and start directing. But let's be honest. Deciding to change is not comfortable. It's not easy. It often means walking away from familiar patterns, people, and places. It means stepping into the unknown with nothing but faith and a burning desire for more. That's why so many people hesitate. They say, I'll change when it's the right time, but the right time never announces itself. The bold decision makes the time right. You don't wait for the conditions to be perfect. You create momentum with the decision itself. Every breakthrough story you've ever heard, whether in business, personal growth, relationships, or health, began with someone reaching a point where they said enough. Enough of playing small. Enough of shrinking to fit. Enough of settling for less than what they were capable of. And in that moment, they didn't have all the answers. They didn't have guarantees. But they had a decision. And that decision moved mountains. When you decide to change, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop blaming the economy, your upbringing, your circumstances, other people's opinions. You reclaim responsibility for your future. You take the steering wheel of your life and stop riding as a passenger. That's what a bold decision does. It shifts the locus of control from outside to inside, and that is where breakthroughs begin inside. There's a difference between wanting change and deciding to change. Wanting is passive. It waits for something external to shift. Deciding is active. It commands the shift from within. Wanting keeps you dreaming. Deciding gets you moving. Wanting hopes. Deciding commits. Every breakthrough demands that kind of commitment. A decision so firm that it burns the bridges behind you, leaving no way back to the old version of yourself. Some of you have been living in the land of almost. Almost ready. Almost committed. Almost stepping into your greatness. But almost has never changed a life. Almost is a silent thief that robs you of momentum. Almost keeps you rehearsing possibilities instead of walking in purpose. It's the bold decision that breaks the cycle of almost and thrusts you into the reality of becoming. There's power in saying, this is the day. Not tomorrow, not someday, this day, this moment. Because that's the kind of decision that rewrites your story. That's the kind of decision that ignites breakthroughs.